Welcome back to our 1 hour special, Navigating the Great Lakes, Life on the Lee A. Tregurtha. One of the many surprises I encountered on the Lee A was that I never lost cell service. I expected to not be able to communicate with anyone at the station or at home the entire time. However, because the ship is equipped with Starlink, I wasn't just able to check in, I was able to take our experience live with our viewers a number of times via Facebook. One of those was well below the deck, showing off the engine room. It was my favorite part of the boat, just the magnitude of the engines and all the pipes, controls, electrical, and plumbing that runs through the ship. It was really incredible to walk through. Take a look.
I wanted to show you the engine room of the Lee A. Tregurtha. I've been trying to show you a lot of the different areas from the top of the deck to below the deck, and this morning we were able to go about as far below deck as I think you can. So that was really cool. We've come up a little bit now, and I just wanted to again show you what the engine room looks like, what the engines look like. I'm going to leave the control open.
The Lee A is truly a vessel like no other. She was built in 1942 for the ocean, was used during World War II, and actually in Tokyo Bay during the surrendering of Japan. She proudly displays the medal she earned during war and is one of the most altered vessels on the Great Lakes. It's a point of pride for the captain and the crew.
You tell someone, oh yeah, I'm the captain on a boat that was built in 1942. They're like, wait, that thing's still moving? Well, absolutely. We're freshwater. Interlake Steamship, as a company, invests millions of dollars in these boats all winter. You know, from steel renewal, from cargo holds to decking. Over time, a lot of work is done.
The Lee A. Tregurtha has changed ownership a number of times, but is currently owned by the Interlake Steamship Company. One of the largest investments by Interlake was removing the steam plant on board and replacing it with 2 diesel engines and a scrubber system, as you just saw in the tour of the engine room. Let's now hear from the crew, some who've been on the ship for over 80 days, as they detail their schedule, their ship, and life as they know it. Every person on board the Lee A. Tregurtha has a different reason behind joining the crew.
My dad sailed. He was a captain out here. I decided, well, I'll give it a try for a couple months. Sail the summer, see how it goes. So that was March of 1999.
My grandfather, I used to go on his boat when I was a kid, and there's really not a whole lot up north, so I was like, might as well go sailing. My wife told me to go sailing. That's what she said, go sailing.
Yeah, I didn't like sitting in an office. I didn't like the idea of doing that for the next 30 years, so I kind of threw a dart at a wall and picked something out of the blue.
Regardless of why they decided to sail or what position they hold, they're all a vital part of the system that moves cargo through the Great Lakes.
That's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work, but it's a good job, and I'm happy to do it here because I know the boat well. A ship's like a little city, so Anything that a city has, sewer, plumbing, electrical, all the mechanical stuff, we have all of that on board.
A city with many moving parts. But don't be fooled. This isn't a joyride. It's hard work, long days, and requires mental toughness many can't fathom.
When you first come out here, your body completely changes. You end up working so hard. You're using muscles you've never used before.
It's challenging. It's challenging for everybody out here, personally. Being away from family and friends, it's tough for everybody. So I'm not that much different.
Ryan Carpentier spends most of his time on the boat below deck. As the chief engineer, it's his primary duty to keep all of the ship's moving parts doing just that, moving.
We can monitor all of our temperatures and pressures and open and close valves from here. We can switch over generators from here. We can monitor the scrubber system. One of the interesting things, our steering gear is pretty much original to the ship. So while the engine room's been upgraded, the steering gear is still from early 1940s.
A multi-million-dollar project replaced the Lee A steam plant with two 4,000 horsepower Rolls-Royce Bergen engines with a controllable pitch prop and exhaust scrubber system.
When everyone sees us sailing along the lakes and you have that little beautiful little plume going, that's all steam. That's it. That's all that's coming out of my stacks now is steam, even though we're burning a heavy fuel. We're almost net zero on emissions, and we're well below any government standards.
It's something the crew is proud of. There's a lot that happens they take pride in, from the day-to-day operations to the relationships they've formed. And as each day brings them something different, they're the constants they can lean on.
The perfect day is when everything goes right. We have great weather, a nice, calm day. And I get to see the guys I work with, that we all get to work together. Just nobody gets hurt. That's a perfect day for me. That is an absolute perfect day for me.
And it's a big thing of just realizing that we may have our differences. We may all come from different backgrounds. We may not see eye to eye on a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, every guy on this boat always looks out for the next guy, because when we're here, you're family.
I feel honored to have taken this trip with this crew, to watch them working together, often not even needing to use words, to take those moments together, to laugh, to appreciate the day. The bond they share, it's definitely unique and what pulls them through those tough moments. Oh, and by the way, the Lee A. Tregurtha typically travels between 12 and 13 knots when those engines are both humming and everything is running smoothly. Now I want to show you a quick tour of their sleeping quarters. One of the crew members allowed us to check out his space. He said he has an open door policy. It's a place where he can get away, but also a place where anyone can stop by for a visit, to hang out, for a chat. It's his home away from home. It's not big, it's not luxurious, but it's comfortable and it serves its purpose. Now, many of you have also asked what my accommodations looked like. Now, unfortunately, while I was on board, I didn't take any official video, if you will, from my room. It just didn't seem relevant at the time. There was so much more happening, and I really didn't spend much time in my room. But I did send this Snapchat to my daughter. Yes, I do try to keep up with a bit of technology, but this shows you the space. Windows overlooking the water, a comfortable large bed, and not shown in the video was my own private bathroom as well. I was more comfortable than I anticipated, and I did not once get even a little bit seasick. The rocking of the waves was actually very calming, especially when I was able to rest for a bit. Now to the most asked question from all of you. How was the food? After the break, we head into the galley with the steward of the Lee A. Tregurtha to see how she keeps the crew fed.